What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back here, bringing you yet another top Pokemon card auctions of the week recap. If your policy is the more the merrier, you've come to the right place. I have a ton of auctions to go through. A lot of the newest English TCG of Scarlet and Violet has come through in its graded form. We're going to take a look at a ton of modern, vintage, sealed, of course, cards you haven't seen before. So stay tuned for all that and more. I really appreciate you tuning in. Before we get started, folks, a quick shout out from today's video sponsor, lowpopping.market. What is lowpopping.market? I'm glad you asked. It is an Instagram page of high-end card dealers that buy all graded cards and sealed product. Folks, when I say they have a ton of grails available, I am not joking. If you're looking for investment-worthy cards, look no further than lowpopping.market. What's awesome about this particular page? They offer trades on all of their items. So in the event that you see a card that you really want, maybe you don't have the cash on hand, you can easily trade for it. And they also offer multiple payment methods and international shipping. Low Popping is also very reputable. As I've said before, I've done business with them many times, have had nothing but positive experiences. So when you're done watching this auction recap, go to Instagram, follow lowpopping.market. I will link that in the description below. Even if you're not looking to buy right now, go check out what they have available, and you will be astonished at the selection that they have. All right, everybody, I'm excited. This is an incredible auction week for us. Let's get started with the Scarlet and Violet English TCG, starting off with this Gardevoir EX that was graded a PSA 10 and sold this week for $163. We also saw this Miraidon EX come through in PSA 10 that sold for $177 and then again for $217. We also saw several of the full art Miriam trainer cards. Here's one in Gem Mint 10 that sold for $212. Another one here sold for $337. And then we saw the other Miriam card come by, also in PSA 10s, had several sales. One for $465, another one for $590, and then again for $660. But folks, those prices pale in comparison to the Japanese variant, which sold as a PSA 10 for $1,102 this week. We saw several Black Label Japanese Scarlet and Violet cards come by. Here is a Miraidon EX that sold for $736. Here's a Gyarados EX that got the Black Label, sold this week for $580, while the Japanese Arcanine EX sold for $477. Speaking of Black Labels, we saw two of the Japanese Charizard V-Stars come by from V-Star Universe. One sold for $750, while the other one sold for $870. We also saw this Japanese Black Label Giratina V-Star that sold for $900, but we did see the English variant come by and it outperformed the Japanese one. This one here sold for $1,325 this week. Up next, we saw a Black Label English card from Pokemon Go in this Rainbow Rare Dragonite V-Star. It sold this week for $460. Here is a Black Label Leafeon VMAX alternate art from Evolving Skies that sold this week for $2,009. We didn't see a Black Label Umbreon VMAX, at least an English one, but we saw a Japanese version come by, and it did not fail to impress in its price. This week it sold for $12,980. Check this out, folks. This is crazy. This is 11 PSA 10 cards from Champions Path. Not all of them, but a lot of the notable hits, including full art trainers, rainbow rares, sold for a grand total of $169. And folks, if you're looking to collect Champions Path graded cards, that's an absolute steal right there. And then yet again, we saw another PSA 10 Gold Medal Charizard card from the Ultra Premium Collection box. Sold again this week for about $3,050. A couple of signed Pokemon cards came by. Here is a Charizard Holo from Celebration set, signed by Mitsuhiro Arita. Both the card and the autograph graded a PSA 10 and sold for $1,975. And then getting into a bunch of very interesting Sun and Moon era cards, here is a Raichu and an Alolan Raichu GX card, also signed by Arita, and sold for $690. Here we have a Gardevoir and Sylveon GX from Unbroken Bonds that sold this week for $360. Here is a Zinnia Full Art Trainer from Dragon's Majesty that sold for $227.50. Here is a Rainbow Rare Gengar and Mimikyu GX from Team Up Set that sold for $243. Here is a Misty's Favor from Unified Minds Full Art Trainer card that sold for $370. And then check this out, folks. Another absolute steal, in my opinion. It is all of the Shining cards from Shining Legends, including the promo Shining cards in Celebi, Lugia, and Ho-Oh. All graded PSA 10, sold for a grand total of $588. And folks, to put that into perspective, the Shining Lugia itself sells for like between $300 and $400 as a PSA 10. So you're getting all of this for only $588. Whoever won this auction, bravo. You got yourself quite a deal. A couple more cards from Sun and Moon. Here is a Magikarp and Wailord GX card from Team Up that sold for $848 as a PSA 10. Here from Ultra Prism, we saw the Lily come by, and it sold for a new high price. At least this is a price I haven't seen for many moons. It is a PSA 10 copy that sold for $1,501. And I feel like it's been forever ago since I saw this card sell for this much. We knew it was creeping back up when it got to like $1,200 to $1,300 the past couple weeks. This week, one sold for over $1,500. So yeah, it is back up to its former glory. Here I saw a couple of interesting sales from the XY era. Here's a Mega Tyranitar EX from Ancient Origins in PSA 10, sold for $120. Here's an Espeon EX from Breakpoint, sold for $167. Here we have a Mewtwo EX Full Art card from Breakthrough Set, sold for $182. Here we have a Primal Kyogre EX from Ancient Origins that sold for $365. A Lugia EX, also from Ancient Origins, sold as a PSA 10 this week for $480. We have this awesome Mewtwo GX from Shining Fates that sold as a Gem Mint 10 for $551. Up next, we saw a Full Art Gengar EX from Phantom Forces in PSA 10 that sold for 1,525 big ones. And then here is an insane XY promo. It is a Full Art 20th Anniversary Festa Pikachu card in PSA 10 that sold for an absolutely staggering amount of $8,700. And before we get into the really vintage stuff, here is a 15th Anniversary Japanese Black and White Full Art Pikachu that sold this week for $2,351. All right, folks, up next, we have a few interesting sales from the EX era. We saw the Charizard from EX Dragon come by, sold for $1,580. Here's another Charizard from EX Crystal Guardians, sold for $3,327. We saw another Charizard Holo from EX Power Keepers that sold for $1,525, while this Charizard from Black and White Boundaries Crossed came by and sold for $842. And then we saw two of the Charizard Holos from Legendary Collection. One sold for $931. The other one sold for $821. Speaking of Legendary Treasures, here's a Full Art Gold Zekrom that graded a PSA 10 and sold for $1,382 US this week. A couple of Level X cards came by. Here is a Dusknoir Level X that sold for $680, while this Dialga Level X from Platinum Series came by and sold for $731. We had all three of the Legendary Birds in their EX Black Star promo variants come by. Here is a Zapdos EX in PSA 10 that sold for $1,525. The Articuno EX sold for $1,245. And then this Moltres EX sold for $788. Folks, that is very low for this card. To put that into perspective, the last sale of this card was like 2 or 3 months ago, where it sold for $1,830. So why did this card sell for half that price this week? Let me tell you. I was actually looking to bid on this card, but then I took a look at the back of it. You see anything interesting? Look closely. Yes, on the upper left-hand corner, it almost looks like the corner is folded in, doesn't it? Something really funky is going on with that upper left-hand corner, and I think that's what kept it from really getting a good price on this card, because it's a very awesome and low-pop Moltres card. I was looking to get it myself, but I just couldn't put a bid on it when the back looked like that. I'm not sure. What do y'all think of this corner? It looked pretty shabby to you? Something funky is definitely going on, and I think that's why it sold for so much less. Just a couple of interesting base set cards. Here is a first edition base set Wartortle in PSA 10, really showing that it is the superior middle child, selling this week for $2,200. And then, folks, check this out. A CGC 10 pristine base set unlimited Charizard came by and sold for $8,600. And according to the title here, I didn't look it up myself because I just plain don't feel like it. It is a Pop 2 card. So what do y'all think? We had several sealed booster boxes come by. Here is a Diamond and Pearl box that sold for $2,770. And to be honest with you, the box isn't looking like it's in the best shape. Looks rather beat up to me. Here is a Diamond and Pearl Great Encounters booster box, sold for $3,805. Here is a Platinum booster box that sold for $4,050. Here is a Black and White Legendary Treasures box, sold for $3,150. And then lastly, we saw an XY Flashfire booster box that sold for $3,100. All right, now it's time for the PWCC weekly auction recap. Up first is a first edition Wigglytuff holo from Jungle set. This is one of the more difficult cards to grade from Jungle, sold this week for $2,880. We saw this Japanese Jolteon Gold Star 20,000 point promo card. This is in PSA 10 that sold for $3,360, while the PSA 9 Flareon Gold Star promo card, the 30,000 point card, sold for $3,480. We saw the Japanese base set Charizard come by in PSA 10, and it sold for $5,040. Here we saw a PSA 4 Tropical Mega Battle promo card that sold for $6,300. Here is a PSA 7 Japanese no rarity symbol Charizard holo that sold for $6,900. Here is a Japanese Victory Orb promo card in PSA 9, sold for $7,200. And here, folks, check this out. What a fall from grace. It is the PSA 10 staff pre-release Charizard from Evolutions. It sold this week for $6,600, which is crazy because last year, this card was selling for about $17,400, and ever since then has been trickling down in value. This week, selling for over $10,000 less at $6,600. Man, what's up with that? Here we saw a Japanese PSA 9 design contest spiky-eared Pichu card. Something I haven't seen before. This is a Pop 4 card that sold for $8,700. We saw the Japanese Crystal Charizard come by, and it sold for $11,100. Here is a first edition holo Snorlax from Jungle. And much like the Wigglytuff, this is a difficult card to grade. Arguably more difficult and more sought after, as it sold this week for $13,200. Up next, folks, we have all of the base set first edition holos graded by BGS. And these range from BGS 5 up to like BGS 8.5s, with the Charizard being a 6.5. All these cards sold this week for $9,900. And then we saw, I believe, 3 of the first edition PSA 10 base set cards come by. Here's a Raichu that sold for $8,400. Here we have the Big Bad Venusaur that sold for $14,400. And then Mewtwo here sold for an even $15,000. In our auctions of the week, I'm going to give to these 2 spectacular Gold Star cards. One was on eBay, the other one was on PWCC. Here is the Charizard Gold Star from Dragon Frontiers in PSA 10 that sold for $17,100. And then on PWCC, we saw a PSA 10 Gold Star Rayquaza, an absolute monster of a card that sold for $38,400. Folks, I would like to finish off this auction recap with this SGC10 Italian Unlimited base set Charizard that came through via PWCC. Now, this is still a payment pending auction, so it hasn't officially been paid for yet, but that is not my concern. My concern is the absolute garbage condition that this card is in, and still managed to nab an SGC Gem Mint grade. If you look at this card from the front, not too shabby, right? Looks pretty well centered. Holo looks pretty nice, but when you flip this puppy to the back, it is chewed up. The edges look just awful. Just all around the whole card looks awful. I have no idea how this got an SGC 10. I'm sure it is a very low pop card because it is an unlimited Charizard with a different language, but I just cannot believe SGC graded this a 10. Just look at it. It looks absolutely awful. Let me know what you think. That concludes our auction recap, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out lowpopping.market on Instagram. Go follow them. I would really appreciate it. That's all I got for you, folks. Thanks again for tuning in and sticking around. I will catch you all in my next one.